Hello friends, welcome back. This is Angular Developer Series. We're building e-commerce web application using Angular 16 and above. So in this video, we're going to take a look at the real-time auth guards that we can use to protect the routes. Okay, so it'll be interesting. So with the delay, come let's get started. Alright, this is the application and you can see there are various menus. Okay, and if you look at this menu is having the shopping cart, checkout, orders and other stuff, address and manage, right? So this one, so basically I have two logins. One login will have admin role as well as the support role. So the concept is the person who has admin and support role will be able to get into any of these routes. Okay, and the person who has just logged in can go to their own address managing and orders and checkout and all of these things, right? If they try to go to any of the routes which really requires the authentication, meaning we have to know the user in order for us to go to checkout and then the wish list, address, everything. So those users we cannot go into these routes. So how do we protect this? So let's first sign out. So we understand it's easy. So I go to shop, it goes, I have not logged in, keep watching this, go to shopping cart. See, you saw the message that you need to log in, right? So let's see what and all is going to ask us, right? So I'm still not logged in. If I try to go to address, you need to log in. That's what it says, right? You saw the message in the side. And even if I go to orders or checkout, it will still force me to log in. I think one of the user was asking, how do I make sure the user logs in before going to a particular route? So this is what it is, right? I'll show you how it is protected. Now, if I try to go here, it still tries to log in. All right, so now let's do one thing. So I'm logging with the user ID called learnsmartcoding@gmail.com. okay, I have two users. I'll show you the database also what is happening. So I've logged in. Now if I try to go to shopping cart, it is allowing. I don't have anything on the cart. That's a different story, right? If I go here, if I try to add this, it gets added. If I go to shopping cart, it works. If I go to proceed checkout, it works, right? All of these things works. I can see the address coming up. I can even place the orders. But if I try to go to any of these routes, you see this, I am an admin, but I do not have the support role. So it's checking from somewhere, right? Let's understand how it is checking. So let's open up this. Basically, I have the function, like this is the code, right? So I have a function which actually checks who's logged in, and there's a role automatically added. All right, so when you guys come, you may not see this, but you can just comment out and work on it. Always email me or ping me, put it in your comment to which email ID I should grant access. I will give you. So basically, if I open up this, okay, so I have two users for these two logins, and I have these two users have different roles. One user has admin, and then the other user has admin and support role. All right, so this is what is being read from the clients. Okay, so now let's understand in the code how we will implement this. This is only important. Okay, so when I log in, let's say if I refresh the page, all right, and you can see this, I'm intentionally putting into the console. This is the content that came, and here you can look at this. All right, you see this user role has admin and user. Okay, so this user has admin and user, and if I log out and log in back with a different credential, all right, you see this user has support and admin role. This is coming from the clients based on your login. So now this user tries to go here, it works, right? It perfectly works, but it doesn't work for the other user. Okay, so because it's basically the designers, a person who is employee of this application, right, this company, if they have support role, they can able to manage the product or so and so. Okay, but other users can do only remaining work. So it's kind of just for understanding purpose, I've designed it like that. But let me show you how it works in the code. Okay, so when you go and check the github.com, so when you go to the github.com, go to this e-commerce smart cart web app, and you will be seeing episode 14 here by the time when you see this video. Okay, so that code you can take in order for you to work on this one. All right, so now all what we have to understand is this is the application that I have opened up the code. Alright, so let's understand how this works, okay? So let's start from the first. Since I'm going to show only the code, it's important to understand how this things works from the base, okay? So this application, when it is booted, you all know app component is the first one that gets booted, right? And before that it gets activated from the routes, and routes is from this routing model. All right, now let's go back to a service called AuthService. AuthService, earlier if you have seen this video, like in the code, it is named as a login service. I just renamed the login service as AuthService. Okay, so because it makes sense to put it that way. All right, so all what we are going to do here is, when AuthService is used in any of the DI, the dependency injection, in any of the services, component, routes, anywhere, the moment it is used, actually the constructor will get called. When the constructor is getting called, you can see, right, you can just keep saying there are a couple of AD B2C related codes are running, and it's checking the login and all of those things. And if there is a successful login, it goes to this get claims. Okay, even if it is not logged in, it will go. So if you go and check this get claims method, this is the piece of code which was newly added. Basically what we're doing is, the moment we get the claims, let's say they have logged in, okay, the moment we get the claims, all what we're checking is if the claim has a property called extension underscore user role. This is what you saw in the video, in the first demo, right? I showed you in the browser. If it is there and it is of type string, we are trying to take the content, split by comma, and then make it as a array of roles. So this user role is the variable. It's a public variable. Unless I mark this as a private, it's a public variable inside the auth service. I'm assigning some value here. Okay, so which means wherever you inject the service, and if you try to access this property, you will have the roles already kept in it. Similarly, is logged in is a variable which is used here and getting assigned with the value. All right, so it will have true or false based on whether you logged in or not. Now this is something that you understanding is important. You understood, I believe. Now how we are going to use this and build the guards, that is what the next step is. Now if you go to this code and come to the section called guards, okay, Angular 16 and above, the way you use a CanActivate child has been changed. All right, if you're using the old way of doing, it's all depreciated. I have released a previous video recently. It talks about 16 and above, how we will build this CanActivate function. All right, so all what we're going to do is, we're going to go through and see what three things are going to do. Okay, the first, the simplest guard is login guard. As name denotes, someone has to be logged in. All what we are doing is, we are making a variable called CanActivateGuard of type CanActivate function. The moment you use CanActivate function, this is what the latest Angular version is suggesting us to use. It accepts two parameters. One is activated route snapshot, one is router state snapshot. Whether you use this or not, this is what the input is. Okay, we will see how we will use these two in the other guards. Now any service that you can inject, you don't need to inject in the constructor, you can just use called inject. That's also from Angular. You can see it's from Angular core. You use inject and provide the service name. An instance of that service will be provided. So we are using two things. One is the auth service, which is nothing but the login service. The other one is the regular toast service that you see that message, right? Nice message. That is what it is. What we are checking here is if the auth service dot is logged in. So if you look at this, if I put a dot, all the publicly accessible variables will come. So even the roles will come, user roles are coming, right? So in this guard, we are checking is logged in should be true. If it is true, we return true. If it is false, we show that you need to log in. And not only that, we use the auth service login method to trigger the login flow. If you go to this login, this is the code that we use to trigger the login. Again, this code is existing code which is there in the AD B2C related code. It's not something that was invented. All right, so we just trigger this and we initiate the login flow. That's what you saw the message, and immediately it started triggering the login flow, and then we return false, right? You understood so far, right? Similarly, admin guard. Admin guard is checking. It is exactly same. It's all same CanActivate function. All right, we are checking two things. It has to be logged in and it has to be an admin. So user role will have commas like it's a array of roles, right? So we're checking the role has to be, one of the role has to be admin. If it is true, true. If it is not, in this one what we do, we check it has to be logged in, it has to be an admin. If it is not, we will say you have to be having an admin permission to get into this module. And then remember there is something called inject. We use the router to inject and then use the navigate method to navigate to a different route. All right, so you can do that. And if everything and let's say if they are not of these things, if it is not logged in at all, we directly come to the sales statement, trigger a login flow and return a false. That's it. So far what you saw was CanActivate function. There is something called CanActivateChild function. Okay, let's first build these three things and then I'll show you where to put this. So this is something that you can apply under a route, so a parent route and a child route. Okay, so now what we are doing here is we again see whether it is logged in and it has a support role. If it is not having support role, we show, hey, looks like you're an admin but you do not have support role, so you go back to the home page. You just cannot go to that route. If nothing else, like if the user is not logged in, we will force them to log in and then return a false. Now if you wonder how admin and support role is supported here, that is what we're going to check next. Okay, so now let's go back to the main routing module called app routing module. If you look at this, okay, let's go to the regular one. Let's say address. So address is one of the module. Here I'm saying can activate. This module itself can be activated only when this can activate guard is successful. What is this can activate guard? Just the user has to be logged in. That's it. If as soon as the user is logged in, this address module will work. Similarly, order module also will work if the can activate satisfies this guard, can activate guard. Here's the interesting part. For the admin to activate this module, can activate function needs to have this one satisfied. This one has to be logged in as well as an admin. Now, after this, any route, let's say if you go here, if they wanted to come to any of these routes, okay, then they have to satisfy something called can activate admin child guard. This is called can activate child. So can activate is the main route, can activate child is the child routes. So in this one we satisfy it has to be logged in, has to have an admin role. Here we satisfy logged in, also it has to be a support role. Combinedly we are satisfying the user has to be an admin and support role. Okay, now an hint of this, right, some understanding. Actually you can do a comma separated guards, multiple guards. If you place multiple guards, every single guard needs to return a true. Only then the route will be activated. If you have two guards, here comma separated with one guard returning true, one guard returning false, will cancel the route. Alright, that's it. This is how you use the protection to the guards, like you use the guards. Alright, so that's it. This is how you use the guards to protect the routes. And if you wonder, there is nothing here for the shopping. If you go inside the shopping and go to this routing module, here you can see at the component level, right, at the route level also you can use can activate guard to protect a particular route. If I don't want this route to be protected, that's well and good, you can use like this as well. Right, I hope you enjoy this video, and if you like this video, subscribe to my channel, share this with your friends in the circle, and if you have any questions, put it in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more tech tutorials. And don't forget to hit the bell icon to get notified when we post new videos. If you have any questions or suggestions, leave them in the comments below. Happy coding!